Hi everyone. So here I am 2 days after Ironman Florida, and I am still on cloud nine because I am so ecstatic about my Ironman Florida 2016 performance. I had a phenomenal day. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a really tough day. We all did. I mean, we had the wind and on the bike and the waves, but I'll talk to you all about that in a bit. But I wanted to talk to you guys about my journey on Saturday and how I got to fourth in my age group. I podium at an Ironman, and oh my God, I have never been so ecstatic and so happy. I will tell you this, I did not get a Kona slot, and honestly, I'm really okay with that. Like, I told my husband, I want to come to Ironman Florida and I want a podium. I want to be top 5. If that Kona slot puts that cherry on top of that Sunday, I'll take it. But if I don't get that Kona slot, I need to be really okay with what I did at this venue. So here we go. Grab a cup of coffee or a glass of wine or wherever you're at, and let's start this journey together. So race morning, I literally stayed right next to the transition. Wasn't sure if it was wetsuit legal. I took all my stuff down, my nutrition, bike pump, Garmin. Found out it was wetsuit legal, so that was cool, good to know, but saw that the wind was really picking up. So I think that was good that it was wetsuit legal for a lot of athletes. So went down, pumped my tires, put my nutrition on, got my Garmin set up, everything, and I had all this time because I already had my tri-tats on my arm, and I was able to come back up to the hotel, drop off the bike pump, get more nutrition in me, get more coffee in me, and headed back down. And yeah, I was ready to go. Like, I was just in a really good place, physically, mentally, spiritually. And if you followed me over the last couple of weeks on my Facebook and in my vlogs and in my Instagram, I was finding a lot of good space spiritually, and I was in a good space. I really was in a good space. So the clock was starting at 6:45 for us to take off. I had to drop off my morning clothes bag, and it was in a totally different spot. It wasn't on the beach this year. So I was on the beach, and so I had to go up, run up, drop off my morning clothes bag. I had a wetsuit on, everything was set, and I go into the corral of the race. So it's a rolling start, and they have, your under an hour swim. Then they have your hour to 110. Then they have your 110 to 120. I was in the back of like the 130, 145, and it was so crowded. We were packed like sardines, and I could not move. People in the back were trying to get up to the 110, and we were like, you guys, you cannot get up there. We're not moving at all. So the gun goes off at 6:45, and we're just walking. Like, you can't control that. There's nothing you could do. You could try to rush, you could try to go. It's not going to happen. You have to get up there quick if you are a fast swimmer, because for you to stay in the back, you have to zigzag around a lot of people, and that's what I had to do. So I crossed the starting line at 6:51. So it was 6 minutes from when it started, and I took off. And it was the waves were pretty calm going out, But then once you got past the break, it was crazy. Like it was a little bit it was much choppier than what I remembered in the last few years. So we're going, you're following those yellow buoys, and you turn to the first left on the red buoy. I saw so many people freak out on that first left because what was happening, you couldn't see the other red buoy because you're going into the sun, and then all of a sudden, it was massive because there was at least 200 people that turn on that red buoy, but then they turn back to the start. And I honestly thought I was in the movie Titanic. Swear to God. Because people looked panicking. And I was like, why do not people not know to go straight across towards the other red buoy? You have to look at a map, you guys. You have to look at that map to figure out, okay, how does this swim go? It goes straight out, straight across, straight down. And what do you sight off when you come back? This huge building that I'm sitting in. That's the way to sight. So I was floored at the amount of people that were very unsure of how that swim was. From what I've gathered, they had to move a whole bunch of people back over to on course because people were coming back up those buoys that we just went out with. So yeah, it's a big, what do you call it? Big half rectangle. So yeah, so my tip for the swim, if you've never swam in the ocean, be prepared. Know the swim course, and then know what to sight off of, especially when you're coming back. This big building called Broadway Boardwalk Resort, Beach Resort. It's huge. That's what you sight off of. So then it's a 2-loop course. So you got to know that too. 2-loop course. Then you go back out, and you have to follow the yellow buoys. So going back out could be a little bit harder just because of the surf. But people were walking, taking their time, and that can really suck up your time because guess what? That time is still clocking, still going. So I was 37 minutes on the first loop, 40 on that second loop. And I think a lot had to do with just getting out of the water, back into the water. I really do. I think I had a pretty decent time coming back for that second loop. I really felt like we had some good waves coming in. The waves were helping us, pushing us in. So I do feel that my second loop was longer due to the fact of just getting out and trying to get going again swimming. So yeah, 2-loop course, know the course, know what you're sighting off of. And if you never swam in the ocean, come out here and try to practice. But I told my athlete, it's really hard to train in those type of conditions if you've never been set up in those conditions. So going back to what Ironman to pick, what is easier for you, you got to figure out what's best for you on your swim, your bike, and your run. Okay. But I love the ocean. Jellyfish everywhere. It was so great. I was like, oh, jellies. I want to see some jellies. But yeah, it was, and saw some fish. I guess people saw some stingrays. So, yeah, it's the ocean. It's my jam. So anyways, so going out of transition, once again, people were just taking their time. I was like, I gotta go, get out of my way. And so rinsed off. And here's the thing, this is a long transition. And for T1, got on the bike and off I went. Got out on the bike, and it was good. It was a good bike, but it was windy. It was very windy. So from mile 20 to 50, you had headwind. There was times I was on that aero bar, and I felt that psh, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna fall. But I was in a good space. I was getting a good space. I was singing songs. constantly looking at my watts every 10 minutes. Where's my nutrition? What am I doing? What am I eating? Top of the hour, take your branched chain amino acids. Grab a water every time you get that hand out. So I was constantly thinking about my nutrition. How am I feeling? Where are my watts? Yeah, occasionally was I singing a song to sort of just get my head going? Yes, for sure. But especially, you really have to stay focused for those 112 miles because you could sort of go off in your own little world. There was a couple times when I looked down, I was at 160 to 170 because of the wind. So I knew I had to pull back a little. Because I talked to my coach, I needed to be between a 130 and a 140 and try not to get over 180 on some of those elements. A lot of drafting, pretty common at Ironman Florida. There's a couple times it was hard not to. You have packs that go past you and you're still at your same speed, but then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I have to drop back. And that's hard. I saw a lot of people get busted. I saw about 7 guys get busted, and then they were all in the tent later, and then they all decided to try to pass me on the bike, and then they were all walking on the run. Plain and simple. So the bike, so the bike going east was pretty tough on that wind, but then, and then about 6 miles north, was hard on that wind, but then you had some tailwind going back on the west, and then you had that tailwind all the way home. But then those last 5 miles, and I tell this to everybody, every year, those last 5 miles to get back to transition, tough. You got that wind right in your face, or it's more like a crosswind, and then when you get around those buildings, right in your face. Very tough. I could talk longer about the bike, but there's really nothing to say. If you look at a lot of our results, you'll see from, like I said, from mile 20 to 50, really hard winds, and then from, I think, 80 to 90, maybe 75 to 90, some tough winds as well. So there we go. Got into the bike, I got off, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to run a marathon? Just like you do every time you get off a bike of an Ironman. And you just sort of have to turn off the brain. It's like, okay, 1 mile at a time, right? So I get going, and I talked to my coach. We said 8:40s for the run. I could not slow down. I kept doing 8:20s, 8:30s, 8:20s, 8:30s. I was like, crap, I'm going too fast. What am I going to do? Anyways, so I kept going, felt good, taking my EFS. So I did EFS on the bike, EFS Pro on the bike, 240 calories per bottle. I had 6 bottles, but I also saw that I did not consume almost a full bottle. So I was going into the run at a deficit of my nutrition. So that's something I need to learn. I need to figure out how to get that in more. I went into my run, but I was doing my EFS liquid shots and then base salts. So I was doing the liquid shots every 20 minutes. And then I was trying to get that full container in me, which is a 400 calories. Here's the thing, I only got 3/4 of it in. So I was starting to get into that deficit again. So I was feeling good on that first half. Oh my God, I was rocking it. Base gave me some rocket fuel. I took that in. That helped the legs. A little bit of different taste. Got some aminos in me. Came back, ran into the 13.1. I clocked a 151, which is awesome for a half marathon. But then I had to do another half marathon. I saw my friend Mac and Miriam, and I go, oh shit, I went out too hard. So I just told myself, okay, Rulon, if you can maintain a 9-minute pace, that is 2 hours. That would be a 3:51. Oh crap, I could Boston qualify. I need a 3:55. So, anyways, so I started taking off, got to 14, got to 15, got to 16. I was like, oh God, I need to start taking some Coke in. So I took in Coke, did Coke every mile, forgot one time, and that really threw me off. Got to base performance. No, I got to 16 on the run, and my legs just hurt. I was like, I gotta maintain this pace. I gotta keep this pace up. So I got to mile 17, 18, and I was hurting. My glycogen storages were low. My body hurt. Everything hurt. And I realized I tried to take in some pretzels, couldn't do it. I tried to take in a Humagel, I spit it out, threw it away. I tried to take in EFS Pro, couldn't take that in anymore. Nothing was sitting right. So I got to, I believe, the base guys again, started sucking down that rocket fuel, and that was helping a little bit mentally. I got to that turnaround out at the park. I saw the photographer, and he goes, "You're going home, aren't you, Jennifer?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And I heard everybody's like, "Must be nice, must be nice." And I was like, I don't know what's worse, racing hard or racing longer. So, oh, my legs just hurt. So I had 6 miles to go. I said to myself, I got a 10K to go. I got to break that up into 2 5Ks. That first 5K, good. The first mile was good. Second and third mile in that 5K, that was tough. That was really tough. And that's when I took in the potato chips and Coke, and that helped a lot. It sort of was a little different idea. And I got to 23, and I said, okay, Rulon, you got to make this happen. Here's the thing. I had no idea where I was in my race. I didn't have anybody telling me where I was, what I was doing. I just knew that I had to push. I passed 2 girls in the 45 to 49. Didn't know where they started either. And I knew one of those girls was on my tail. And so I said to myself, I need to push this last 5K. So here's the thing is what I did. I looked up to the big man upstairs. I looked up to my universe. And I said, you know what? I don't know where I am. I don't know what you're going to offer me today. But what I do know is that I'm tired. I need your help. I need your grace. And universe, I'm going to race for you. God, I'm going to race for you. I'm done racing for myself. I'm done racing for other people. It's time to race in your glory. And I took off. I got to mile 25. I got to mile 24. Took in some more potato chips, Coke. I said, okay, you gotta go. Got to mile 25, took in another swig of Coke and some water. I wanted to throw up because nothing tasted good, but I was like, you have 1 mile left. I knew I could turn on Thomas Drive and get so much energy from so many people on that race course that I was like, it's time. So I just gunned it. I had the blinders on, heard people yelling, man, you're looking strong, Jennifer. And I kept saying the phrase, let go, let God. And I did. I said, I don't know where I'm at. I crossed the finish line. I saw Pink Tribe Princess from Instagram, Tamala Jones. She caught me. I hugged her. I started crying, and I said, that fucking hurt. But I am so happy No clue where I was at. No clue. And I just started crying, and I hugged her, and I walked, and she's like, "You want a picture?" I'm like, yeah, but it hurts." She goes, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I don't know. I want a picture. I don't want water. I don't know what I want." And then I see this woman yelling for her husband, "Oh, baby, baby, I'm so excited." And then I started crying some more, and I said, "Tamala," I'm like, "my husband's not here. I'm all by myself. I just want to share the joy and the love." She's like, "Girl, I got you. I got you." And so then I saw another friend. Hi, guys. That's so awesome. I saw another friend from San Antonio, and she took my little card, so in case I needed help to pick up my garb. And Deborah's like, "Hey, I think you got fourth or fifth in your age group." I'm like, "What?" Um, she's like, "Yeah." And then she was trying to refresh after I crossed the finish. She's like, "Yeah, it's either fourth or fifth." I was like, "Holy shit!" So I go over to Beachbody for some recovery. They had some good like creamsicle stuff. Got that down me, and Tamala's like, "Well, let's look." Sure as shit, fourth place. I was like, "What?" And I go, "Can I use your phone to call my husband?" She goes, "Yeah." And I'm just sitting there, and I'm all in that, that little blanket. And I call, he goes, "You got fourth place." And I was like, "Oh my God." I started crying. I podium at an Ironman triathlon. You guys, I have never been more proud and happy for myself. It's crazy. I raced in his glory. I raced for the universe. I raced to tell people that dreams can come true if you work your ass off. And all day and all night I kept looking at, I'm like, it's going to change. It's going to change. Something's going to happen. It's going to change. I placed fourth at an Ironman triathlon. Like I said, did I get my Kona slot? No, I didn't. But I left San Antonio saying that I wanted a podium. And I did it. I frickin' podium at an Ironman. Now, I know this vlog was really long, but it was such an amazing day, an amazing journey. And I wanted to share it with y'all. I am truly honored and blessed that you watch this, and that I did it. I freaking crossed that finish line with a smile, and I was still being a badass, placing fourth in my age group. Ah, ah. All right, I'm going to end it with this. My cup runneth over. Thanks for all your love and support, and I'll see you on the flip side. See you at the next race. I think I'm going to wait a couple weeks to decide on what to do for 2017. I got a clean slate. It's a pretty awesome feeling. All right. Love to y'all. Bye.